2, 1.
And now, live from the Lethal Edge Studios in Harbor City, California, the Emerson Spring Lottery and Virtual Knife Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you out there viewing today. There's a couple things I want to talk about before we get started. I'm going to show you a couple things. Since we still have some auctions going on, I want to show you a close-up of this George Washington Patriot knife with wood from a tree from George Washington's original farm. And I want to show you a couple things about it. I have some papers here that I'd like to show you that are the actual provenance for where this tree was during the time of George Washington. So we have a copy of George Washington's hand-drawn map that's a plot of his own 1793, I believe this one was. And this is a close-up view off that map that shows you exactly where that tree was located on the property. And it says here, the massive oak from which the handle of this knife was made comes from the land originally owned by our first president and founding father, General George Washington. The tree stood on what was originally the General's Union farm of his Mount Vernon estate. It is represented on this hand-drawn map, 1793. The specific location of the tree is at the midpoint of Plot 7, just to the north of the line that Plot 7 shares with Plot 1, which puts it right there. So these are the papers that will come with the George Washington Patriot knives, and it's a pretty exciting project, and I hope you guys enjoy it. There's still some time left to get in your bidding. It's a beautiful knife. It handles very well in the hand. It's got a little Bowie-esque type blade that kind of dates it to that time, but it's a real substantial knife, and I mean a real nice design. I like it a lot. There's a couple other things I want to talk about before we get going also. And what that is the knife that we're doing for Chris Kyle's family. This knife, CQC6, is a handmade Emerson CQC6, and on the front it says Chris Kyle, U.S. Navy SEAL, 160 confirmed kills, Class 233, with the Navy SEAL Trident, soundly in our beds. And on the back side it says, because rough men stand ready to do violence. And I don't think there is a more appropriate quote for someone like Chris Kyle, because if you read what we have on the auction site written by my friend Larry Yatch, it kind of epitomizes what Chris Kyle represented to his fellow soldiers, his fellow Navy SEALs, and all the other soldiers that he helped protect their lives during his time in service. And I've got to say a couple other things about this. I want you guys to bid as hard and as fast as you can on that knife. There's still some time to get that in, because that family needs help, and they lost their their father, husband, brother, and it was a terrible tragedy. But there's something else going on, and it involves a guy named Jesse Ventura. And what he's doing is he's suing that family for something that happened down at McPee's down in Coronado when Chris decked him. And he's going to sue the family now because Chris has passed away for damaging his reputation or something of that sort. And I'll tell you what, if I was a jerk and Chris Kyle decked me and knocked me to the ground, I think that would raise my status and reputation, because a guy like him, you know, what's he after? I don't know if it's money or whatever, but you guys got to help this situation. Bid fast and furious on that knife. It's a beautiful knife, and it's going to a great cause, okay? Benefit that family. That guy was a true American hero. One other thing I want to talk about is we've got a knife called the Diamond 6, and I don't know how many of you had a chance to see it when we were down at the Blade Show, but it really is a Diamond 6. It has diamonds here on the pivot bolt. It has diamonds placed around the edge of the thumb button.
It has pave set diamonds in the back spacer on both sides, 18 karat gold back spacer, and on the back side the clip, 18 karat gold Emerson Bad Intent skull. This is by far the most elegant CQC6 that's ever been made. It's got mukutai bolsters on it with a really nice checkered, black checkered set of handles. It's absolutely stunning, it's beautiful, and whoever gets this knife is going to get absolutely the most elegant 6 that's ever been developed. But I got to tell you one thing, it's still a CQC6. If I had to grab this and use it in a life or death situation, it's still going to do the job, no matter how pretty it is. So anyway, you still got a few minutes to go on a couple of these projects that we're working on with the auction. And without further ado, we're going to go on here and get on with our program. So, let's get ready to lotto. I need to have my family come on out and help me do this job. So they're going to come out here and help us with our lottery. I've got a great selection of knives here today. Come on out, Rachel. This is my beautiful daughter, Rachel. My handsome son, Lucas. My daughter, Rachel, just graduated from college. Yahoo! Lucas just graduated from the 5th grade. Yahoo! My other beautiful daughter just had a baby, so I'm a grandfather. And where's my beautiful wife? She needs to be out here. Anyway, come on out. We're going to get this going, and everybody's involved. So, I've got 12 new models or more here today that you're going to see maybe for the first time. We had some of them down at, come on out. We had them down at the Blade Show this year. And I'll go through them, you know, as we go along, and as they get picked, I'll hold them up and show you what actually model it is that we're talking about. We're going to do something that we did last time at our lottery, which is to draw a name of a person and draw a name of a knife, so that it's a complete 100% random draw. You don't know, I don't know what you're going to get, you don't know what you're going to get. And we're going to start with my son Lucas picking out the name, and Rachel, you're going to pick out the, or I'll pick out the knife name, or Mary, you can pick the knife name. I'll go ahead and over to Rachel. And I'll do that. What we're going to do is just start right off. Rachel's going to write the name down. We'll be in contact with you if your name is drawn, and you can work out all the logistics and that of getting the knife to you. So, here we go. Let's pick a name. Lucas, pick a name out of the pile. And we have a lot of names. That bag is full of names. Everybody's been involved in getting into the lottery. The first name picked is Richard Kachuk. Richard Kachuk. And the knife picked is the Slim Pipe. So Richard Kachuk gets the Slim Pipe. And we're going to take a close-up of the lottery board afterwards, so you'll be able to take a look at this later. If you're not watching right now, and reference it later on, we'll post it up on our website. Tariq Mirshak. Tariq Mirshak. And the knife is CQC5. Give the time. CQC5 is this knife right here. The Slim Pipe that was drawn earlier is this knife right here. The name is Giorgio Quevedo. Giorgio Quevedo. And the knife is a mini Gypsy Jack. So Giorgio gets the mini Gypsy Jack. Augustine Morales. Augustine Morales. And the knife is the Soiree. One of my favorites. It's a very, very cool knife. And I'll tell you what, in your hand, holy smokes. Just the feel of that knife it's pretty impressive. Ready? James Adams. James Adams. And the knife is the Super A100. Super A100. Same model that I made for Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones, who is a real big knife collector, by the way. And he plays pretty good guitar. Jonathan Kelly. Jonathan Kelly. And the name that the knife that he gets is the Hatim. And there is the Hatim. And the Hatim has a little bit of a Arabic look to it, Middle Eastern look. It's named after a battle that took place during the Crusades. It's called the Battle of the Horns of Hatim. And if you're a historian or if you want to look that up, go right ahead and look it up. But it's a very, very historic moment in the history of the Crusades in the Middle East. And the name is Jeffrey Siggers. Jeffrey Siggers. And the knife is the Tiger. Another very, very cool knife. I love this handle shape, love the blade shape. With the curve on it, it presents all the time, no matter what you're cutting, both forward and reverse grip. Boom. Again, very, very good knife. Can't go wrong with this. This is going to be a classic Emerson design for sure. The name is Vincent Swans. Vincent Swans. And the knife is the Dragoon. Again, curvaceous little devil. I love the way those curves present into whatever you're going to cut. Really a nice, cool knife. The Dragoon. The name is Eric Grover. Eric Grover. And the knife is Emerson Combat Systems Fighter. And you got to know I like this one because it's the one I picked to be the official knife of Emerson Combat Systems, which we're going to produce on a production level, small, short runs later this year. But again, it has the Roadhouse handle, basically. You can tell I like that low slung blade, that curve up front. This is a really magnificent fighting knife for personal defense or offense, would be the case. Again, can't go wrong with this knife. Another one I know is going to become a standard for Emerson collectors in the future. The name is Michael Rumor. Michael Rumor. And the knife is CQC 6. First 6 that's picked. And I assume most of you know about the Emerson CQC6, so I'm not going to describe that. There's 2 6s, so there's going to be two lucky 6 picks here today. The name is Charlie Gunderson. Charlie Gunderson. And the knife is the Centurion. Another new model. Real nice knife. Has the curves of the handle, a la the CPCA, but with a straight ahead, Bowie-esque type blade. That again, it's just a strong knife. Really, really strong design. Daniel Wrong. Daniel Wrong. And the knife is the Government Mule A. And of course, if you know about our knives, you know that the A blade is a quote-unquote conventional style blade, and the B blade is always the chisel grind or tonsil style blade. The Government Mule, again, named after what I wanted to represent as something being strong as a mule, and a little bit stubborn, but will work as long as the day is long, given the chance. Yeah, good strong knife. Brady Miller. Brady Miller. Isaac Marood. The Isaac Marood. A lot of people's favorite design. Hold on for 1 second, since I've got a captive audience here. I'm going to show something. I showed this down at the Blade Show. This isn't the same one that's at the Blade Show because this is already in a box. This is a copy. It's called a Golden Ace. I'm going to bring it over there and show it to the camera. It's called the Golden Ace. And I'm going to try and get the light to reflect off it a little bit. It's a titanium ace that's been anodized gold. And what this is, if you've ever seen Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, where they put the golden ticket in one of the candy bars, this Golden Ace it's actually in one of our boxes right now. Mary placed it in one of the boxes. I don't even know what box it's in. And some lucky person is going to order one of those knives from us, because you have to buy direct from us. This isn't going out to dealers or stores. They're going to get a box, open it up, and there will be one of these Golden Aces in the box. Well, what that Golden Ace does is that entitles you, as the person who got that knife in that box, in this ace, to get a free Emerson handmade custom knife. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to choose the model, but it'll be a nice one. And you will get a knife, perhaps a model that's on the table like here today. You will get one free. Now, if you know anything about our knives, you'll know that's a pretty substantial prize, because I sell them for a price which doubles or triples at times after it leaves my hand. So whoever gets this ace, don't lose it. Call us up and let us know, and we'll get you an Emerson custom knife. Okay, let's get back to the line. The name is Don Mellarine. Don Mellarine. And the knife is the Apex. Over here. Big knife, but a really nice knife. I mean, it looks different. Have it in your hand, I'll tell you, again, it's all about picking the knife up and how it feels in your hand, which is the magic that's involved in making these things. The name is David Grimm. David Grimm. The knife is the CQC-10. Right? CQC-10. Travis Hawk. H-O-U-C-K. I know I'm mispronouncing that. Hawk. Travis Hawk. The knife is the Gentleman Jim. Where is the Gentleman Jim? It's on here somewhere. Here it is. Gentleman Jim. Philip Clapp. Philip Clapp. And the knife is the El Bandito. designed by my son-in-law, Randy Gomez, built by me. I like the design. Pardon me? He's the guy working the cameras today, so thank you, Randy. Great design, and I'm real pleased with it. Guys like this a lot, and talk about keeping it all in the family. This is what it's all about. El Bandito. Joshua the Lake. Joshua the Lake. The knife is one of our standards, the CQC 8. CQC 8. Talk about been there and done that. This knife's been in every bad spot on this planet, I guarantee you that. Jiao Tao Wang, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Jiao Tao Wang, Xiaoto. And the knife is the Journeyman. Where is the Journeyman? Here it is. Again, Journeyman. A working folder. Right now, I guarantee it's working in places that most people will never hear about. You know, I'm going to wait before I read this name. I wanted to say something. You know, I was just down at the Blade Show, and people were talking about, you know, your job, and, you know, the job of making knives, and the job of running the company, and all those good things. And I was thinking about it, and I thought, you know what? I don't have a job. I've been retired for 25 years. I've been retired since I came home and told my wife I wanted to quit my job that had full benefits and pensions and all those good things and make knives. And she said, "You want to what?" And I said, "Hon, I think we could actually do this and do this for a living." And luckily, you know, she stood by me. She had enough faith in me to say, let's give it a try. So I consider from that point forward, I've been retired for 25 years because I don't even view this as a job. I love doing it so much that it's not work for me. I know everybody around me works real hard. In fact, they probably work a lot harder than I do, but that is true. But I like it so much that I don't consider what I do work. And I got to thank all of you out there for the support that you've given to us and our family and my endeavors, really for the last 30 years, 35 years since I made my first knife. You know, I owe it all to you, everybody out there that makes my dream possible. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much. I do want to say something about the USN, which to me is a very important thing. It's super important. I know you don't know this, but every single knife that we have put up for charitable events, whether it's a cancer foundation, whether it's one of our employees who have cancer, whether it's any of these Navy SEAL team boys or Army guys or Marines, that we're benefiting with the sale of a knife. I got to say this, and I want USN guys to know this 100%. It's 100% fact. Every single one has been won by someone from the USN. Every donor who has been the person that stepped up to the plate and given the most money to the cause has been a member of the USN. Isn't that right? From the very beginning. So
you should be proud.
You guys should be proud. And I'm proud to be a member of the USN. I always will be. Anyway, I'm getting all misty. Francisco Guerra. And the knife is the MV2, one of the original Viper knives. All the way back to 25 or 30 years when I was making them in the garage. Dan, you asked Hakchai. I know I'm mispronouncing the name. It's Euashachai. Well, we're going to write it down and show it to you later. But it's Den Euashachai or something like that. I apologize. You'll know who you are, and we're going to show it on the board up close after we're done. And the knife is the Gypsy Jack. Here is the Gypsy Jack. Definitely a cool one. Trent Harris. Trent Harris. Now we'll wait till Rachel gets that name written on the board. And the knife is the Gladius. The Gladius. The Gladius is found here. Now, I'm going to talk about the Gladius for a second. Maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't, but I have a very, very intense interest in Roman history. And I'm very lucky to actually own an actual Roman Gladius sword, not a reproduction. It's actually almost 2,000 years old, and I don't want to tell you the story of how I came by it, but the reason that I have it is because I was a very intense student of Roman history, Roman weaponry, and Roman warfare. And when people think of a gladius, they think of the gladius that's been used in movies for many, many years, which is a knife that comes down and comes to a point like this on the end. But when you think about the actual gladius sword and its history, it came from a sword that was used in Spain called the Gladius Hispaniensis. And the reason that it has the name Gladius is because the blade was shaped like the leaf of a gladiola bulb or a gladiola plant, the glads that you might have in your garden. And what that blade is it's wasp-waisted, and it comes out to a gentle curve on the point, like that. The handles always had grooves in them because they were circular, so they had grooves down the side. So if you look at the profile of this blade, this represents the actual gladius shape and the handle shape as close as I could make into a folder. So this actually has historical ties, and I just didn't name it the Gladius, because I've had people say, that doesn't look like a Roman sword. Roman swords look like this. Well, that's called a Pompeian sword. And the reason it's called a Pompeian sword, the one that has the sharp clips on both sides, was as the sword evolved over time. It was much easier to make that sword than it was the actual gladius-shaped sword. This is called a Mainz-type blade, if you will, if you want to get into history of it. The Pompeian blade had those sharp points on it, and the reason it's called Pompeian is because two of the first models, or excuse me, examples that were discovered were dug out in the ruins of Pompeii, hence it's called the Pompeian type Gladius. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say about the Gladius. I just kind of a little history lesson, but I've done research in conjunction with the British Museum and the Getty and the Metropolitan Museum, and also the Louvre, and a bunch of museums over in England. And so I know a little bit about the swords and all that. So that Gladius is a folding version of a Gladius sword. Just wanted to clarify that. Come on back, we'll get rolling. You know, it's funny because I really do think a lot about these models when I build them. And I just don't pull a knife design out of thin air. There's reasons that I do the things that I do. And if I'm doing something that has a historical tie, or a tie to a firearm, or something like that, I bring those things together in the design. It's not something that I take lightly, I take very seriously, and quite honestly, I think I do a pretty good job of it. So, anyway, when there's a historical thing like the Hattin or the Gladius, some of those knives, there's a reason that they look the way they do. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Fraser Damon. Fraser Damon. And this knife is the Panzer. Another new model. Strong, straight-ahead design. Franklin Mirador. Franklin Mirador. The knife is the Uber Commander. And let me tell you about the Uber Commander, since we've got it in my hand here. I received a top of an MRE package with a outline of a Super Commander on it, and then a rough line drawn about a 1/4 inch larger all the way around that knife. It was a piece of the MRE pack. It was folded in half with tape on it. It said free postage to Ernest Emerson Knives, and it was from Afghanistan. It happened to be actually a very good friend of mine, and he said, "I dare you to make this knife." And lo and behold, I made that knife. And we introduced it a couple of years ago down at the Blade Show, actually at the SHOT Show, maybe the Blade Show, I can't remember. But that knife is actually being deployed with a bunch of guys that go in certain places where a lot of other units don't get a chance to go. And I'm real proud of it. They like the knife, and there's been a lot of people that have asked us to build it on a production level and all that, so we've made a few runs with the Uber Commander. For me, it's a little big because I'm not a big guy, but these guys seem to like it all of it. Good, so. Story of the Uber Commander. Cole Leleux. Cole Leleux. L-E-L-E-U-X. And the knife is the Government Mule B. Now, Government Mule B is a little different from other chisel ground blades that I make, Tonto chisel ground blades, in that I've had a lot of people over the years say, "Hey, Ernie, make a knife with the chisel ground side on the right side." And I don't mean correct, I mean left side, right side. So the Government Mule B is the first Emerson knife that we're going to be making, maybe on a production level down the road, that will have the chisel ground on the right side of the knife. And like I said, it's not right or wrong, it's right or left. And this one is now the first one that we're putting out. I made a couple of 6s in the past that had the grind on the other side, but you know, I do listen to you guys once in a while. It might take a sledgehammer to get the idea driven in, but this is the first one that I'm doing and introduced as a standard custom model with the grind on the right side. Okay. Lake Bess. Lake Bess. The knife is the Mini Roadhouse. The Mini Roadhouse. Now, the thing about knife designs is you can take a design sometimes and it may feel good in what you would call maybe a standard size or the average size for the average person's hand. And if you make a big version of it, it might not feel good. If you make a small version of it, it might not feel good. But every once in a while, you have a handle design that feels just as good big as it does small. And the Roadhouse is one of those knives. As you can see, not all of our knives have a mini, a regular, a super, and an Uber, because the handle just feels good at a certain size, but going too small kind of constricts you or cramps you up. Going too big lets you swim around on the handle. Neither are good for a tactical knife. But sometimes there is a handle design that comes out just right, big and or small, and the Roadhouse is one. So even though this is called a Mini Roadhouse, it still has you've got a good grip on it, it feels good, and it's a strong, strong grip. So, the Mini Roadhouse. Mike Mazur. M-A-Z-U-R, Mike Mazur. And the knife is the Roadhouse. Standard size Roadhouse. which has now become a standard Emerson knife. A lot of guys are using those. They can't keep up with the orders that we get. We get them all day long. Matthew Hess. Matthew Hess. The knife is the MB3. MB3 goes all the way back to the Viper days. Again, this is a really, really good design. It's one of my favorites. I still make it. I've had guys tell me this is one of my best designs ever. You know, maybe, I don't know. It's just a good, strong knife design. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. And it was one of the first knives I designed strictly as a fighting knife, one that you would use in the classical sense, or would fit the genre or the classical definition of a fighter. And in reality, a fighting knife is whatever knife you have in your hand when you get into a fight. Christopher Rice. Christopher Rice. And the knife is Persian. And there is the Persian. Beautiful knife. Great curve. I love those S curves. I like a lot of the Arabic or Middle Eastern design knives. Super Roadhouse goes to Jackson Lee. Jackson Lee. Super Roadhouse. The Super Roadhouse. John Coughlin. John Coughlin. And the knife is the MB1. MB1 was the first tactical knife that I made when I decided I want to make what I like. And honestly, you know, I need to make something that you all like. Otherwise, I'd have a lot of boxes full of things that I like that no one else did, and I don't know what I'd do with those. So I needed to make what you, the people that actually buy these knives and collect these knives and use these knives, you know, I need to do that. I was making real fancy knives with a lot of glitz and glimmer and stuff like that, and it was kind of all I made because I was at a point as a knife maker starting out my career. I needed to make the things that the collectors at the knife show wanted to buy. And although I liked making them, they were a lot of fun and they were actually nice knives and they were very nice and they've become highly collectible over the years. They call them pre-tack knives. It really wasn't where my heart was. My heart was really into using knife. I'm a hammer and nails guy. That's what I want. That's what I use. That's what I have probably the most stake in. You know, if someone were to break into my toolbox, the things that they would steal, micrometers or expensive measuring instruments, you know what? The things that I would miss the most would be my hammer, because I've grown accustomed to it, and actually it came from my grandfather, so there's a sentimental value. But you know, it seems funny because that's where my heart is. That's what I love, what I want. The things that I value the most are the tools, the real work and demands tools. And this Viper was like the first version of that. And the reason that I made it is I said, you know what? I'm going to make what I want, because I know there's a lot of other guys like me out there. They want a working man's knife. They want something they can beat the hell out of and not worry about scratching it up. So this is actually the father of all my tactical knives, and really started me on this wild, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride with all of the tactical knives that I've built over the years. So it's an important knife if you want to think of it in the history of Emerson knives. Caitlin Schisler. Caitlin Schisler. And the knife is the CQC 15. CQC 15 is right here. Combination of the recurve blade with the Tonto. Real work. This is one of those working man's knives right here. Charles Mason Jr. Charles Mason Jr. And the knife is another one of our new ones called the Amazon. The the Amazon knife. Tom Clayton. Tom Clayton. And the knife is the CQC7. CQC7 knife. This is the knife that actually basically got the ball rolling, set the standard for all tactical knives that come after. It's also the same model that was a production model, but the same model that was the one that sold a couple weeks ago for $34,500 because it was donated to an auction by one of the guys who was on the Bin Laden raid and had carried that Emerson CQC7 for 8 years, including on the night that they went and took down Osama bin Laden. So again, very, very important knife, very historically significant knife, and probably the knife that was responsible, that and the 6 kind of in tandem, for actually starting the tactical genre and bringing it to the state-of-the-art where it is today. Leanne Sardiga. Leanne Sardiga. CQC 45. CQC 45, right here. Great knife. And really, you put it alongside a 45. I was always a 1911 guy. It really goes with that gun. Jeffrey Lopez. Jeffrey Lopez. Knife is the CQC 13. My version of an American folding Bowie knife. I carried one for about 3 years. I really love the knife. CQC 13. Michael Kolody, or Kolody, K-O-L-O-D-Y. And I heard Mary say the Beast. And yes, it is the Roadhouse Beast. And it is huge. And I had a guy describe it to me down in Atlanta last week. You really have created a pocket samurai sword with this one. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool description. I'll buy that. Again, it still feels good in the hand, even though it's big and bad. Rich Ulmer. Rich Ulmer. The Mini CQC 15. Great little knife. Cut for you all day long. Glenn DiGirolamo. Glenn DiGirolamo. And the knife is CQC 6. So Glenn, you got the second CQC 6 here today. Daniel Flores. Daniel Flores. And the knife is Commander. Commander. What can I say about the Commander? I'll tell you what I can say about the Commander. The knife I carry is a Commander. That's how much I like it. Patrick Forbes. Patrick Forbes, the Mini Commander. And again, that's one of those handle sizes that feels just as good big as it does small. There's no problem with a knife this size with that type of handle that I've got on the Commander. There's 3 left. Stefan Schurman. Stefan Schurman. And the knife is the CQC 12. That knife was patterned after a after an AK-47 bayonet. You can notice the blade similarity and the handle shape. Again, I carried one of these for about 2 or 3 years. Really a super strong knife, no question about it. And just a workhorse all day long. I love the strength of this knife. So Stefan, enjoy that blade. And Megan, come on up. Get you in the picture here. This is my daughter Megan. She's given us a beautiful, her and Randy have given us a beautiful, beautiful grandson named Lorenzo Gomez. He's sleeping right now, otherwise I'd be showing him off too. But Megan's given my wife Mary a break. I guess the baby's still sleeping, huh? Okay, that's cool. Brett White. Brett White. And the knife is the Tonto. The Emerson Tonto. And we get down to, that's the last one? Okay. Last knife and the last name. Deron, D-E-R-O-N, Lundy. Deron or Darren Lundy, L-U-N-D-Y. And the knife is the Half-Mate. The Half-Mate. Again, cool little knife. If any of you get a chance, as we get our website, and by the way, you may have noticed we've got a new website. Bear with us. We're sorting out some of the spider webs and the glitches and all the things that are going on in there. I'd like you guys to continue reading the Ballad of Stumbling Jack. This is where that knife came from. And it's inspired by that. It's the Half-Mate knife. It's a real good little knife that'll fit in a pocket or a pack real easy. And it's a cool knife. You got to check out our website. Go find Stumbling Jack and read the book that I'm uncovering through working with his family. That's it for the Emerson Spring, now Summer 2013 lottery. I want to thank all of you for taking your time to participate. Again, for allowing us to do the things that we love to do. My family works very, very hard, supporting me, running this company, and all of our employees work very hard. It's because of all of you out there that have taken an interest in my knives and the things that I do that allow that to happen. You're putting a lot of good people to work. I'm telling you that right now. We have a great crew that works for us, and they love what they're doing. And again, we all owe it to all of you to make that possible. Thank you very, very much. I'll see you at some shows down the road. Thank you.